Welcome back, guys, and I'm glad to have you back. And today we are out making a survival shelter. Now, the survival shelter I'm wanting to make is for this fall and winter. And it's not even September yet. Next month's gonna be September. I know, it's a little early, right? But I just want to get out in the forest. It's been a couple weeks since I've been out here, and we are on my family's property. And I'm actually out where me and Michael Survival did the last overnighter. But like I said, we're out doing a survival shelter, and to get to the point, we are going to go out over this ravine, and we're going to go way up in there and see what we can scout out. Now, first thing I'm looking for is deadfall. I want to build a survival shelter where there's going to be some deadfall, or at least a lot of debris. And now, with that said, with having deadfall around, you got to be careful, because that means a lot of trees have fallen in that area. So you gotta watch out for the widow makers, which you guys know what that stuff is. It's dead trees up there that are gonna fall over and kill you. So if there's a lot of deadfall, that means there's probably a lot of widow makers. So you want to check your area. You got to keep that in mind when you're going to build a survival shelter. And but that isn't necessarily always the case. Just because there's deadfall doesn't mean there's still widow makers around. All the dead trees could be falling, so you might be okay. But something to keep in mind when building a survival shelter. I'm going to walk and talk to you guys without falling over. So with that said, I want to have a lot of debris around me, like, say, for instance, like bark, vines, stuff like that, leaves. Now, as you can see, everything out here is still green, so I am not going to have any kind of dried leaves. That's okay, because the survival shelter is going to be mainly made for the fall and possibly winter time. We'll see what I can come up with. So that's another reason why you want to do it around debris, so you don't have to walk and hike and look for debris everywhere for it. So you kind of have it around your area. So with that said, let's carry on. Trying to do this without falling over. It's kind of muddy. Okay. Okay, I think we found our location. Let's check it out. So what's really good is that I already have fallen debris here. Now I could make a shelter under this thing here, because I've already got pretty much everything I need to make a shelter. And the only thing is, this tree here, semi-dead. It's leaning on another tree over here. So the only thing I'd be concerned about is that, you know, if I made my shelter off this part, that eventually it would drop on me and kill me or something, or smash me, who knows. But technically we're not in a survival situation, so, but I'm still going to opt out on doing that. So what I decided to do is that I have this tree limb here that's over here hanging. It's a lot smaller, and it's not as high off the ground as that limb right there is, which that's almost too high off the ground. So I'd have to have a lot longer logs, a lot more work. Here, I'm a lot lower to the ground, and that's perfect for what I need. The only problem that I run into is that I have the back here to start my survival shelter, but I have nothing to hold this side down so much other than the whole branch itself. But I'm gonna have to cut this part off, that part off, and this bottom part off, so I have a nice back here I can build a wall off of. So what I might do is build a tripod out of wood to put this one end on. Now to come over here on the other side of all those trees there, we have all kinds of dead wood. I mean, lots of it here, and a pile of firewood over there basically. They had cut a bunch of trees out of here a few years back, so that's definitely what that wood's from. There's a bunch of dead tree stumps everywhere, and so that works out perfect for us. Silky big boy, you know it. So you saw I did a slip knot, just circled around it, and now I'm just gonna throw some lashes, pretty much just in between this one right here, and just tie it off. Nothing too fancy, so. Okay, I've got one tripod up here, and I gotta do the other side next. But I don't necessarily need it for the side, but because I have that there, I'm not gonna have that much weight, but that will just be to last longer because we're starting the shelter a lot earlier than fall. Fall's still 4 weeks away, but we might do camp out next weekend, who knows. So tripod. Okay, we got both tripods set up. Okay. Man, I actually think, because I'll have room back here with my hands, this will all be enclosed back here on this tripod, so I can store like firewood in here, and the same on the other side, so that works out great. So yeah, I think I have just the right length. And the less length you have, the less boards you got to use on the back. So keep that in mind. A lot more work. Here's what we have done so far, and we're just starting on this one end here. Now I'm going to show you something here. You see a lot of survival shelters on YouTube that look really nice and really pretty. Nice straight boards, or nice straight limbs, logs, beds. Perfectly straight, right? I mean, not perfect, but, well, in a real world scenario, unless you're in a forest with a bunch of straight pine trees or just a bunch of straight wood, you ain't gonna find straight wood. This is what you're gonna run into. Look at all them gaps I have. It's because these boards here, look how curved that is. That is not straight. And so what you're gonna run into is a big gap, like right here. This board's fairly straight. You got a big gap. So you're gonna have to get other sticks and you're gonna have to start filling them in without it going inside there. Because out here, we got oak, we got walnut, hedgewood, I can't think of the other one, elm. We got all kinds of just hardwoods. We got locusts, and nothing's gonna be straight out of those. So, survival situation, you gotta use what you got around you. And granted, we'll talk about time, how long this takes to build too. So to give you an idea in a survival situation, how long it would take, and depending on what tools you have as well. Today we're living pretty luxurious. We have a Silky big boy, so, and I have my cold steel survivalist. So I mean, you got those two tools, you're good. You can make a shelter all day long. So another thing you're to look for as you're getting debris off the ground and logs and stuff is the ants on the logs, and I've ran into a few logs like that. This one's not so bad, but you can see it's got like mushrooms and stuff all over it and spores, and it's just termited, but we're going to use it because this is a survival shelter. So something you can do, take your Silky big boy and use the spine of it, and it does a pretty good job at getting stuff off the outer bark. I can't say enough good things about the Silky. This thing is, it's awesome. All right, guys, we have got the frame all finished. And this is what we got. Got the sides all done on both sides here. Now, you'll see when we get to the back, the front sides are gonna be different. And I'll show you why the sides are like that. The sides are more straight up and down, where the back has more of a angle to it, and the sides are not so much. And the reason why I did that is because that's all I'm going to do on the sides. I'm not going to add anything else to it unless I can. So with it being more straight up and down, you won't be able to put much on there that will stay on there. Now let's go around back and I'll show you why I did the back the way I did it. This was definitely a process. Oh, so the back has more of an incline rather than the front, like I said, and the reason why is because I want to be able to shingle this, and I want to be able to shingle this, and I want it to be able to stay on there without sliding off so easy. Now, what we're going to use for shingles, we're going to use bark, and we'll get to that in a minute. Now, putting the bark on, it is not going to be 100% waterproof, but and also it will not stay up the whole time. It will eventually slide. However, this is nothing but a survival shelter, so it's not a permanent shelter. With that said, the first layer that I would use would be bark before I put another layer of something else on there, but first it's going to be bark, and I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, so we're not too far away from the shelter, and I was getting wood and I found this out here. This is obviously a fallen over tree, and it is full of dead bark. So when you come across something like this, you struck gold, especially when you're building a survival shelter. And these, I'm not sure what kind of tree this is offhand, but this bark is going to be excellent for shingling the survival shelter. And this bark here, every bark's different on trees, so with this bark here, it's pretty thin. Not as thin as pine, but it's thin. And not as thick as oak. So it's like just right in the middle where I want it to be. But I want to try to keep them as long as I can, so I can cover more distance without having to do each section at a time. So there you go. That is a gold mine. Whew. So what's really good is up here I'm starting to kind of, so you see I got a process going there, but with these really long ones here, I can just pretty much just lay them down. And that's actually even better. I covered all that gap right there. So that's even better. I'm gonna try to do that because most of this bark came off real long, so we'll try that. Okay, it actually turned out pretty good so far. Got quite a bit of space covered with the bark going longwise, or lengthwise, I mean to say. So I just got to finish filling this in. And I think here it's getting ready to storm. So I'm about out of time here. I'm gonna try to finish up some more and I'll get back to you. Yep, it's raining. And I don't even have my shelter halfway finished yet. Oh, shoot. It's not raining too hard, but who knows, we get a torrential downpour here in a minute. But I am under the part with the bark. As you can see, it's not as open as the other side over there. So we'll be somewhat dry here. Well, while I wait for the rain to at least break or pass so I can get out of the shelter, we got half of it done. So I'll try to get out here next week and finish it. I mean, at least finish the next layer or finish putting the bark on at least. And then when the leaves start to turn, we'll be able to add leaves to it. But yeah, that's pretty much our next step. I was hoping to do an overnighter next Sunday, but it's not gonna happen. Things have changed. So, but we will definitely be doing some overnighters, and I probably said that I don't know how many times now, I'm sorry. But shelter is doing good. Just got the bark on, that's where I'm sitting. And I'm not really wet, just to where it's coming in over here. There's some bigger drops there right here. So yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope you learned something. So like I said, we'll finish the bark in the next video, putting the bark on, and then we'll start adding stuff to that, which will be the leaves. And that'll be probably later on. But we'll probably do an overnighter before that, so we'll see. So please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And try to make it to the live stream tonight. It's gonna be my second one, so. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming along, and we'll see you in the next video. God bless you and take care. Bye.